哦，直播中可以了，可以了，可以了，可以了，看到了。
Good, how about you?
Hello everyone, hi. Thank you everyone for coming here. Thank you everyone for coming to SAI.TECH Marietta to come to the 2023 BT Day. SAI really appreciate your support as always. For those who can't attend in person, we really appreciate you for tuning in on YouTube. Feel free to ask any questions at any time. Please follow us on Twitter at SAI.TECH for any updates. So without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Jesse C. Rush.
All right, welcome everyone. I'm gonna wait 2 seconds just to let this group filter in. Now you got me. Let the rest of the group filter in here real quick. Let's see. Mr. York. It's like a reunion for me. Come on in and find a seat. All right, so I'm Jesse Roush. I'm the Executive Director for the Southeastern Ohio Port Authority. I want to welcome everybody to Marietta today. I have the honor to start by talking about really the merger of industrial assets and agriculture and how that could potentially in the long run support our local economy. So I'm going to start by saying, there goes Puxatawny Phil. Apparently winter's still 6 months away. Yeah. So I get to talk about the merger of the industrial sector and the agricultural sector a little bit, but there's a second merger that comes into play that I'm going to start out a little bit, which is really sort of opportunity meeting preparedness. And I don't see Amy Koslak here from AEP. I do see Jennifer from AEP. The awareness of this site predated the awareness of this project. And there was a lot of interest in what becomes part of the merger here in the industrial side, which is we have a very robust electrical infrastructure in this county. We're home to 2 former coal-fired power plants. There are 22 substations in the county. Due to global economic conditions and the search for acceptable and suitable data center locations in the United States, really starting around October of 2021, we were forced to take a hard look inward at our electrical infrastructure and where were the places where we would have the potential to capture one of these projects. For clarity, we are the County Economic Development Office, and we really lead on a sites and infrastructure front. We actually own one of those former coal-fired power plants. And so because we have access to energy access on there, we really started to take, a steep learning curve to figure out what it takes to be successful for these types of projects, and understanding that a lot of times it's about the capacity. Am I out? I could just be loud, right? Everybody can hear me. I'd prefer to do that anyways. So from the energy side of things, obviously there's a lot of available power, but you have to have capacity that's accessible. One, but the timeline was a big thing for a lot of these projects. And so when Tal reached out to Amy at AEP, there was a real clear sense that this was an urgent project. And we really knew we only had one site that had a suitable amount of capacity that could do so in short order, and that was this site. So the fact that we were aware gave us a leg up because we were immediately able to put a site in front of Tal and the team to think about consideration. So I really want to thank Amy for reaching out, but also to Tal for the due diligence, right? He was able to follow up on that and work on things. So the ability to take what has been here for a long time, right? When you look around, you see some of these substations. A lot of this stuff originated in the 1950s and 1960s with really some of the emergence of this industrial corridor. Something else that was prevalent during that time frame was research and development. And that's a culture of manufacturing that we've kind of lost over the years. So the idea that we would have the ability to take something that's been here for a long time in energy assets and sort of rekindle one of those aspects of our local economy and R&D is really one of the exciting aspects about this. We have a lot of really cool companies here in the region that have a global footprint and a global impact when it comes to metals and plastics and polymers. But we've been on the forefront of agriculture for a long time too. And I think that's as equally important in our local economy as some of the other industries. And so when we find out it's not just access to energy assets, it's access to an agricultural community and sport resources, it's access to educational institutions and students, and the whole comprehensive experience that OCEC wants to bring in the R&D. I was really excited because I think we got a fantastic ecosystem here across a lot of different fronts. And so, now we have the opportunity to merge AI and agriculture right here in Appalachia, which I don't think a lot of people see coming. And so the more that this gains traction, I'm excited about it because we've always been innovative here. We've always been on the forefront of manufacturing and energy and all of those assets that come together in our local economy. It's just the best kept secret, right? So we want to make sure that we highlight this a little bit. R&D, most of us know, is a catalyst for innovation. Innovation can drive the economy in a lot of different ways. There's going to be a mixed bag of opinions about whether climate change and ESG is here to stay, whether it's a fad. The reality is it is here now and it needs to be addressed by our local manufacturing base. And so we can either ignore it and act like it's not a problem, or we can address it headlong. We're going to be at the epicenter of that. We're going to address it here at this location. This team that they've built is going to find ways to address that. There are applications not only right here with the greenhouse, but there are other applications all up and down the Ohio River Valley where this could potentially not only help with business retention because it helps companies figure out some of those initiatives and the things and the goals that they have to achieve to be compliant, but who knows what businesses are going to emerge in terms of an attraction component. That's what happens around R&D centers. They spur up other sorts of development that we're not even aware about right now, right? AI is kind of new to all of us. Agriculture is old school. It's something we do really well. But if you dig into sort of the food tech side of things, there are a lot of very cool things that can be accomplished right here. And you can drive right up and down a main thoroughfare and see it happening right out your front door. So, last thing I really want to highlight is before I was in this position, I was the director of workforce development at the local community college, and I love the fact that this is transferring job skills that have been a part of our history for a long time. I joke all the time that we're really good at keeping the lights on. We know industrial electricity better than anybody in the world around here. It's a huge part of what we do, right? This is the new version of that. There are going to be a lot of traditional skill sets that can find a home in this sort of high-tech, cutting-edge environment, and we're prepared for that. So I'm excited about that. I want to express my gratitude to Tao and the rest of the team for choosing Marietta for this project. I want to commend you for your commitment to hiring local contractors. Please do not overlook that if you're local or if you're just here for the first time today. There's a very strong commitment demonstrated to local contractors. We very much appreciate that. Your economic contribution is already very real to what's going on here in Marietta. So I think my job now is to hand it off to Mr. Tao Wu and talk about how this transition is going into the future. So Tao? Thank you.
Good to be helpful. My voice is not as loud as Jesse, but I'll try to use this. So I have about, I don't know if you guys can see here, but I have about 5 slides.
Yeah.
So I'm for the SI, for this section, our CEO after will talk about it. Today, my job is acting the director of that part, which is the Computing Heat Recycle Technology Development Center. I want to give you guys a little bit of background to why we started. I know you guys cannot see, but it's fine. I will talk through it. So, for people probably not very familiar what is computing heat, I want to give a little bit of short introduction. If you look at your personal computer, or if you look at those computers in the server, what they do is they use the electricity, then they do the calculation with the chip, and all the electricity used for the calculating will convert to heat and other data, which will send somewhere or do some calculation. If you look at the data, actually at the bottom you cannot see for sure, but if you look at the 2021 data from the US government, in 2021, there are 400 terawatt hour power being used by data center or used for computing. What is that? What that tells you is, if you think about a 1 terawatt hour, you can light over 1 million house over a year. So it's a lot of power being used for calculating. And if you think about it, all this will convert to heat. And 1 megawatt, 1 terawatt hour is 1 million megawatts. So 1 megawatt hour computing, you can generate about 4 million BTU. You will see the greenhouse. 1 million megawatt hour can support up to 10 of those size, the heat for the greenhouse, that size. Today, most of those heat, almost all of them, they either go waste by you're using air cooling. So you use the cold air, you cool the miner, or you cool the machines, then become hot air, bring out, and it goes somewhere. Or they're using the cooling tower. We also use the cooling tower. That's a traditional way, right? So it evaporates. So you can tell most of them is wasted. So that is the reason we really want to form this center. To really focus on how we can recycle the computing heat. Our mission actually kind of 2 aspects. One is we look into and we develop a technology here, and we develop a system here to show people how actually residential, commercial, or industrial can use those computing heat, recycled heat, for either replacement of traditional heating or apply to a different type of heat. The second level of the mission we will believe is what we actually doing is the computing heat is I would say have very own characteristic low, or we call low grade heat. How can we use the low grade heat with a huge amount more effective way? We work with okay. We work with the energy department here. We try to work with national labs and universities to find out if there are better way or other way. For example, one proposal we work with Jim. Okay, well, Jim, we're from Washington State Community College. We were thinking about we can do 4-season grow algae, capture the carbon dioxide for the algae growing. The algae can grow for oil. Those things is the next level of research we can do and study and demo here, how we can find the other way to use the computing heat. And our goal for this center actually is a different way looking at. I listed 3 here. The first one is when we talking about there's a beneficial of heat recycle. I truly believe is the first beneficiary should be the people supporting nearby and see this thing developing, which is Marietta people. I will talk a little bit about a very specific project we are working on with the local community. The second, our goal is, I've been telling people who I've been working with, this is the first of this kind in the world. And we want to continue to be the leader of this field. And we want to be the one continue to come out the best solution for industry to tell people how to recycle the computing heat, how to use the heat, and how to scale up, and how to either for business point of view profitable or for environment point of view, it's a right solution. The last one, I know everybody start talking about the carbon neutral, everybody understand that piece. But if you look at what we're doing, one is we collect the waste heat, and also we can replace the traditional heating. We truly believe our work will be one of the key contributors for the carbon neutral effort. So this is actually this is the actively working projects we are doing. Or I put it a short-term plan. The first one is you guys will see the greenhouse. It's almost done. That's Kevin's team. When I sent the invites to Kevin, said August 9, Kevin told his team, so you know what's coming. You have to get this done before August 9. And thank you. So yeah, and so personally, I want to thank SI. I know I'm an SI employee, but as a direct piece, I really want to appreciate SI can put the effort to build this. I would say the most advanced greenhouse system. They have a floor heating, and they also have very well temperature controlled system designed. You can really, based on the greenhouse temperature, you can adjust and supply the heat. We will use this facility for any our OCEC projects. The first project is I got feedback from George, who's actually our board member. The first thing he said, you know, we have a harvest of hope. We provide fresh vegetable to the people in need. Summertime is okay because there are quite a big gardeners, they're willing to help. But when it comes to cook, they literally have to spend money to buy groceries as a fresh vegetable to supply. And now we have this facility, we have this opportunity, so we are putting all the effort to work with Hope of Harvest, and we trying to supply the fresh vegetable during the winter cold time. That's the first project. The second project, I found even more overwhelmingly positive feedback when I talked to State Community College, Marietta College Career Center, and also that they just introduced from Fort High School. Yeah, Fort Front High School. They have a high school together called Ohio Manufacturing Program. They have a student for high school. They actually have the project need to do is they have to grow vegetable. They have to make the growth and they have to collect and have to present the final results to the school as part of the course. And they look at the information on the website and talk to Jesse. They said, we want to work with you guys, make this be part of the program. So we actually actively working with a different local academic school. We really look at, we're going to build a course for introduction of the data center, and also a course about in the heat recycle system, which will involve the mechanical, electronic, and also all the heat recycle application, like the one I will talk about besides the greenhouse growing, like maybe growing tropic, some type of plant or other kind of what we can do. And also we are talking about have a on-site tour class as well as a boot camp over the weekend at the school, just give students education for all those information. As Jesse just mentioned, we believe all those they made familiar with, like pumping system, thermal control system, but now how you can integrate it with a data center and supply to the greenhouse and fishery. That's the one actually I'm going to talk about. The greenhouse is the first we'll build. The next one we're going to build next to it is actually a fishery. I get to know about the fishery need. First was talking about is actually the Canada, not Europe. They heat in the seawater for the salmon fishing. But when I come here, I talk to actually Paradise Valley catfish right here, and they said, you know, I really need a fish bait because when you go, it's really hard to get fish bait around here because. And then I start searching. I found that there are 30 minutes Malos fishery. I pay a visit with them. I talk to them. They have a fish tank, 6 of them. I said, what do you do in the winter? I said, we shut down at the end of September. We reopen at March because we don't do heat the tank. I said, no, you know what? I have a solution for you. And they said, after they heard the idea, what do we do? They said, loved it. I said, we will come in to operate this thing. We're going to do this thing. And we're going to build a 3-tank fishery. And we can probably, you guys will have easier to have the fish bait. And we'll maybe have some other type, whichever you can. Again, I'll come to it. Any idea will help if you want some special fish to grow. Yeah, so that is the next project. The other project is also, when I talk to, that's from Jesse's introduction, when I start talking to the bridge to the bride. They start, I introduced the idea. They said, well, actually, there's a picture. That is from Mesa, Arizona. My son, I'm from Phoenix. My son swim from 3 to now college. This is the pool actually at the Mesa, Arizona, all outdoor pool, beautiful and nice. And when I talked to them, they said, you know, YMCA after they closed the pool, we really don't have a good pool. And when my friends' kids come in, when they went to the practice, they need to drive an hour or 2 to find a place to practice. My son go outdoor pool around. There's so many of them, and they can do 4 seasons. Ice, no problem. Jump in the pool, 75, keep it. And when I talked to my engineer, they said, you know, cold pool is the best solution to remove the heat. I said, wow, that's so nice. So I started talking to them. They said, well, we'll work with you and think about what are we going to do. Maybe we'll build a public pool. Maybe a 25-yard land, 8 land, and then we can have a open door pool. Open door also cost is much lower than indoor. And we can heat it easily to keep at exact temperature, the best for the Olympic swimmer needed temperature for the pool. So this is the project actually we're actively working out. This picture I showed here is not to show people what is exactly our team is. I just want to show here is two purposes. One is to say thank you for people. One, first one I put here is Mr. Mark Agel. I always want to thank him. What he said is, whatever you need, I will give you the help. Yeah, I put him as the advisory committee. The second one I will put here is actually George Baziga. He's so helpful, do a lot of work with OCEC, got me connected to the organization, got to know people around, get ideas. Thank you. And the third is Jesse. Right? Jesse, I don't want to talk anymore because he's just, whenever I need, just call him. He will get me the right people. And Marcus here, he was talking. He's the one giving me the idea with all the. He said, I need someone growing mushroom. He said, wait, let me find out, talk to you, and get to you. And we have the side is James. He's actually a board member also. He's helping us to put a program together. At the bottom, I put a lot of empathy here. I just want to use this opportunity to say, we need help. Anyone want to help us to work together to develop the OCC? Come talk to you, like for the greenhouse, for fishery, for the coordination of other things. Just talk to me. We can do together to make this thing happen. I got last page. Actually, this one, this basically just show you guys we had a good start, and we'll continue working out. We align all the ways to funding our OCEC. For example, the sponsor, like SAI is one of the sponsor, and we also ask more industry partners to be the sponsor of our center. And also we're working with people to writing grants for all the research project. And there's quite a state, federal level fund we're trying to go for supporting for the waste heat and the carbon neutral effort. And we also have the one Mallows. We talk to them, say, yeah, you come in to grow fish winter, but help us also. So we work with them. And also the OCC is a 501, and that part also we get donation also. So I want to put here is this is a start. When we have well funded, actually this center will be we will have. If you look at website, so we also offer scholarship, assistantship for students going to be part of the projects and part of programs. So yeah, today I think I probably took it a little bit long. I think that's my last page. For more information, you will go for the, I think there's a couple of pages, but that's just for backup. So that's just backup. I think, again, I want to appreciate everybody helped me and helped the organization. And I'll give to record to Marcus, right?
Say me now.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Hello, thank you. I know most of you guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Marcus McCartney, so I'm the OSU Agriculture Extension Agent for the county. And I have to admit, probably this spring or late winter, Jesse calls me and says, hey, we got an idea for you about some crypto mining facilities. I'm thinking to myself, well, how does that relate to agriculture, Jesse? First time we were ever kind of related there or interacted, I was thinking, man, this guy's, he's off base. But then I started doing a little bit of research. I started seeing how the excess heat can be used to fund to heat greenhouses. I started doing a little research. I saw in the Netherlands, famous for their flowers and their tulips. Well, they use these same facilities to heat their greenhouses in the Netherlands. Sweden, fruit and vegetable production as well. And I think from the university, anytime we have an opportunity to get involved with technology, we should do it, especially in our backyard. I thought this would be too great an opportunity to pass up. If you guys aren't familiar with technology in ag, it's highly technical nowadays. From precision ag to robotics. If you've never been to a dairy farm that uses robotics, I suggest you go check it out. It is amazing what those robots are doing, how those cows kind of milk themselves nowadays. It's fabulous. But here, so the greenhouse we have, so I'm excited. I won't spend too much long talking about what I want to do or what I want to hope to get out of this greenhouse. But for us, we don't know. Our job's basically broken down into three main sections. So we have teaching, which we do predominantly teaching. Okay, then we have service we have to do. It service at the local, the state, and the national level. Here locally, just for serving on the Adult Career Center Advisory Committees, one service I do here locally. And then from the research aspect, so one research I've been doing in the county was looking at variety trials of cucumbers to see which one trellis the best. Because the future of food production is we're running out of land, right? So we're looking at growing vertically. Up at Columbus, at our farm up there, we put down our old greenhouses, we built some new ones, and they're like these 3-story looking cubes. Kyle, you've seen those, I believe. So everything's about going vertical. And that was actually done at Washington State last year, so we're doing some of that research there.
And by the way, that food thing is still going. And growing cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, and green peppers.
It is, and they're delicious too, aren't they? Yeah, so I'm glad to hear it's still going. That was a project that I was involved in last year to help it get it up and get it going. But I don't know if you know the cost. So just in February and March, we're looking around $1,000 to heat that greenhouse. And so think about the potential we can save for some of our farmers if they have some technology hooked up to a greenhouse, where the savings can be. So with that, I'm glad Tal reached out. I'm glad Jesse reached out to us, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to hopefully bring some of the university's resources down to Washington County. And whatever Tal needs, just let me know, and we'll get that. And so not only some of the resources, but also include some of our expertise from some of our professors and some of our specialists that we have available on hand. But I'm excited to get growing. So we're going to start growing some mushrooms, right? All right, well, thank you, Tal.
Thank you, Marcus, for the speech. And the next speaker will be Jian from Luxor.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you all for having me. I have to say what the SAI team has going on here is absolutely incredible. I've been to a lot of hosting and mining facilities out in the U.S. and Canada, and this is by far one of the most impressive ones. Tied directly into a greenhouse, absolutely amazing. A little bit about myself and Luxor. We are a mining technologies company. I work over at the business development team, and we pretty much are a full stack provider from our mining pool to hash rate derivatives, a brokerage for ASIC sales, and hosting as well. A little bit about myself. I got into the mining space in 21, and it really started off by mining an S9 in my garage. If you're not familiar with an S9, they're older engine machines, probably like a little shoebox. And I really got fascinated with the heat recapture aspect of it, and ultimately put this S9 machine into a fish tank and piped it out into a radiator. Ultimately was going to try to use it to heat up my pool, but I gotta have to have a pool first. I live out in Arizona, so we don't really have to deal with the cold as much. Matter of fact, during the summer, it's been bouncing around between 115, 120, so I'm loving it here. Tal, you're in Phoenix, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is a beautiful Ohio summer for me, and I'm really enjoying being here. So yeah, a little bit about Luxor. Again, we're a mining technologies company. We got started about 6 years ago with our mining pool. Originally, it was a altcoin mining pool called SAI.TECH. We gravitated over the years through that pool into mainly focusing on Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. What I want to get into today is a little bit about the analytics part of our business, the hash rate index. So, as miners, we're always looking for a way to optimize our mining fleet and ultimately lower costs when it comes down to being profitable and efficient in these operations. Part of that can be heat recapturing if you don't necessarily have the cheapest power costs to deal with. What the hash rate index is, it's our analytic platform. So as we grew out our mining business and pool business, the analytics platform really was something that was missing in the mining industry. We had a hard time personally trying to, or in-house, trying to put together information to figure out what exactly is going on in the industry, whether it's from Bitcoin mining energy consumption all the way to what are the machines selling for. If you don't know and aren't familiar with the Bitcoin industry, it's very nuanced, and fortunately over time it's becoming more and more transparent as miners and operators kind of share their data and resources with one another. We are a leader in this industry, and we, as part of this hash rate index platform, we have the hash price index, the Bitcoin ASIC index, and the Bitcoin mining energy consumption index, which we focus on. So hash price. For those of you that are into the Bitcoin space or are unfamiliar with Bitcoin mining, hash price is a metric that was coined by us as a way to track the value that a machine creates on a petahash basis with the difficulty and price of Bitcoin incorporated into one metric. Now this was established I want to say about 2 years ago, and has been a very helpful tool for miners to optimize and plan for their revenue levels as we go into the future throughout the halvings and the different Bitcoin price cycles that come into play. So in this screen right here, you can see just like the price of Bitcoin, it fluctuates quite a bit. One, because it tracks not only the price of Bitcoin, but also the difficulty that is involved on the network. So as more miners come online, they add more hash rate to the network, and ultimately that makes it more difficult for miners to produce and earn Bitcoin as a reward in the system. So this metric is a great way for us to analyze and forecast our revenues for the foreseeable future, and also predict the relative floor as to how profitable it is to mine Bitcoin at a certain level, given both power costs and the Bitcoin price at any given moment. So one of the aspects about Bitcoin mining is the ASICs, or they're mining machines, but we like to call them ASICs, just like people call Kleenex or tissue paper Kleenex. ASICs are application-specific integrated circuits. These Bitcoin miners have hundreds of these ASICs on each of these hash boards on the machines, and as Bitcoin miners increase their hash rate over time, one of these containers right here, you'll have hundreds of machines just plugging into the Bitcoin network, hashing away, and ultimately contributing to secure the Bitcoin network. And the price of these machines vary quite a bit. As you can see in this chart right here, just like the price of Bitcoin, it's quite volatile. This Bitcoin ASIC index goes back about 2018, 2019 time period, and over time, as these machines become more and more efficient, they also drop off on price and have different use cases. For instance, older generation machines love to find a home in low-cost power environments, such as Paraguay. Russia right now is a very, very popular destination for machines, but also for heat recapture. So, for instance, if you are in a situation where you don't necessarily care about mining the Bitcoin, but want to utilize the heat resource from it, this older gen machines are fairly well priced and accessible to go ahead and plug into a greenhouse like this. But if you want to ramp it up and really earn some Bitcoin, new gen machines are perfect for that and can produce just the same amount of heat. Okay, so this is the fun part: the Bitcoin mining energy consumption index. There's a lot of nuances about Bitcoin mining and its energy consumption. One of the things is, you get the headlines all around the news saying that Bitcoin consumes more energy than countries combined. And to be fair, that is true to some degree. But the problem is a lot of people don't understand that energy consumption isn't necessarily a bad thing. Energy consumption, as a matter of fact, has contributed to the production and growth of human civilization over time. And with what Bitcoin miners do is they actually seek the most useful and and cheapest forms of power, which is usually stranded. So, for instance, one of my responsibilities within the company is I visit a lot of these hosting facilities or Bitcoin mining facilities. These facilities, much like here in Marietta, are usually in former industrial powerhouse areas where maybe during the former decades manufacturing has gone overseas and left towns without a community and jobs to utilize all this power and infrastructure. A lot of these Bitcoin miners are now moving back into this space. They're taking up the power that's just left stranded here from long ago, and ultimately bringing jobs back into the industry and really contributing to society in ways greater than we could have imagined 5 years ago. So what this energy consumption index does for us is it gives us kind of a range as to what we can hypothesize the amount of energy that Bitcoin mining consumes. There are 3 different bands within this chart. The lower band is a model that we use to assume the lowest efficiency of machines on the market. So these are like your S9s, your S17s, machines that really aren't in online these days, unless you're mining with really cheap power or utilizing the excess heat for greenhouse purposes or heating up your swimming pool. The top band is a measure of the highest performing machines. So those are machines that are going to be your top of the line, high efficiency machines that are really, consuming a lot of energy, but are producing quite a bit of hash rate as well. And hash rate is a metric that, or is a type of, it's very nuanced, but it's just the computational power that a Bitcoin miner produces onto the network as the machines are online. So to kind of get some context, the middle band right there is what we use to estimate the global consumption of Bitcoin miners as a mix between new and used machines. So there's a lot of different aspects to the energy consumption, but ultimately, you can't pinpoint exactly how much consumption the Bitcoin network is using, but using these metrics along with other resources like Coinmetrics and Galaxy Digital, we're able to hypothesize how much energy these machines are consuming on the network. As part of, I mentioned earlier, Luxor is a full stack ecosystem. We have our Bitcoin mining pool, as well as our ASIC trading desk and RFQ. This is just a platform that a lot of miners can use to come online, trade these machines, and really find price discovery for these units. Part of that is also hash rate derivatives. This is a way for miners to hedge this hedge hash rate, which is essentially a commodity. Just like corn is produced by a corn farmer, Bitcoin miners produce hash rate onto the Bitcoin mining ecosystem. So we use a wide range of products to hedge these miners against downturns in the market and other ways to really protect themselves from downside risk. And then on top of that, LuxOS firmware is a firmware that we incorporate into these basic machines. It's very advanced firmware in the sense that we're able to control the power production and efficiency of these machines, as well as utilize thermal management for hot and cold days to both keep these machines online and really be as efficient as possible for these Bitcoin miners. But other than that, that's all I really got. If you're interested in learning more about Luxor and what we do as a company, feel free to shoot me an email or talk to me afterwards. I'd be happy to help you out. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Since my question is a little bit, since the event is too hot for this machine. So we have our next speaker, from Redesign Science, and we're excited to know how bioscience will connect and link with SAI.
So Arthur has been a very good friend of mine for many years, and then we didn't really discuss, and he picked a picture that looks like I'm about to commit tax fraud. So I am the CTO and part of the co-founding team of Redesign Science. We are a computation chemistry biotech company that specializes in making oncological and autoimmune therapeutics. And that's a mouthful. And also, I think that most of you are wondering why I'm in Ohio right now, in a discussion about using Bitcoins and, making greenhouses. I'll tell you how exactly that works. So the pretty picture, basically this is your cellular environment in your body. And one thing that the scientists has gradually figured out over the last 200 years is that our body is really made out of cells, right? And the cells are made out of proteins, which is the basic machinery of life. And the interesting thing about protein is that when they have dysfunctions, they cause disease. Some of the proteins are involved in regulating your cell's life or death cycle. So if they are turned on constantly, then you get cancer, basically, because your cell can kill themselves and then you get a big tumor. And the goal of kind of discovering the small molecule therapeutics is basically to try to find some kind of key that will put into this engine and then stop the function or activate the function. Right? So this is the basic premise for the drug discovery thing that people have been doing for many years. And then previously you would eat some plants randomly from the ground and then see what happens. And now you use robotic arms to do this in a high super screening way. But the kind of the technical premise that we're basing this on is that in, I think, 2012, there was a Nobel Prize, and then people kind of figure out if you treat this protein as a physical system and then try to compute all of the forces and the dynamic nature of all of the atoms, which can be characterized with very rigorous Newtonian quantum mechanics, you're able to simulate how the protein actually functions dynamically in a cellular environment. So basically, you have a virtual kind of a virtual reality of like a simulation of everything that's happening in your head, in your body, in your stomach, if you put enough computation power in it. And this is actually what we do. So I don't know if this animation will play. Let's see. So this is your cellular environment, and we do very large scale, what we call molecular dynamics simulation, which would basically take the protein that is of interest and the thing that's giving you the kind of the disease, and then we simulate its motion in a realistic timescale through a massive deployment of GPU clusters on the cloud. And then we identify multiple states that were druggable in a sense, and then find the small molecules that are able to bind to them and test them computationally before we put them into the human body or even into a rat. Right? So this allows us to do this in a very efficient and then scalable fashion as long as we have the computation hardware that is available. And so that's kind of where this unlikely do kind of happened. We use a lot of computation power. We spend upwards of $1 or $2 million a year on different kinds of cloud vendors, and that of course produces a lot of heat, right? So it's not really a good way to when 20 years later when everybody is cancer free but they're drowning. That's not really a good thing to go. So we are very conscious about the environmental impact that we're bringing to this, and I think that for a lot of the companies that's similar to us, not necessarily working on the biotech infrastructure, as well as maybe the general chat GPT or other AI related business, they can all benefit from using the same kind of computation, but that's delivered in a more green and economical and serves the local community kind of way, more integrated. So we are very happy to kind of like go into this collaboration agreement with SAI and also the Boltbit company that's newly formed that will be specializing especially in providing not only the cryptocurrency mining facility, but more on the general GPU computation facility that will power the future generation of therapeutics company and also other AI applications, right? So very excited to be seeing this facility here, and then in I think a couple of years we'll be seeing cancer therapeutics simulating around next to a bunch of fish and swimming, right? Great. So this is basically the general scope of this, and of course we do a lot of other things, and just super excited to be here. Thank you, Arthur, for inviting me, and it's really good to get out of New York City and then stay in Ohio, away from the rats. All right.
Thank you. And the next one, our final speaker will be our CEO and founder, Arthur Lee.
Okay, so I really appreciate for all of you joining us for the second Big Hit Day. Last year when I stayed in New York City, and we organized our first the Big Hit Day in New York City in a hotel, and there are so many plants in the hotel. But what we think at that time, we think that maybe next year we want to find some places that will really contribute the heat to the local people, to the agriculture, to the other industries, and to invite all the people here to prove that actually we could really use the heat from the computing side. So that's why we are here now. So this year we organized our second Big Hit Day for now, and we want to show that how technology could really benefit the society, benefit the local people, benefit the agriculture. So that's why we are here. And also I'm the CEO and the founder of SAI. As you know, that it shows here, we are a Nasdaq listed company, but actually we are more like a startup. We want to try our best to reuse all the heat from the computing process and to lower the cost and make the society carbon neutral. So that's our destiny for the industry. So today for the second Big Hit Day 2023, I'm here want to show you that why we choose this direction and what we think will accomplish in the future to benefit the whole society. Okay, so here's some numbers about the computing industry. Recently the ChatGPT is really popular around the world. Actually, when you dig into the industry, how much energy will ChatGPT consume? That the number will be really big for you. If you compare the number that ChatGPT use to the electricity that you use for the home, for the county, for the state, you will know that wow, it consumes so much energy. So what could we do if we want to develop the ChatGPT industry as well as other industry like the agriculture at the same time? And also other industries like the computing, the Bitcoin computing and AI computing and other high performance computing industries, they all use much more energy daily, and maybe in the next decades, the consumption of energy that they could use will be double or triple in the next few years. So the problem is that why could they only use the energy and we need to even consume more energy to help them to cool the system? So we need to consume more energy to cool all the computing systems. But on the other side of the world, like the Ohio, like other cities, like the New York City, and maybe in Canada, people need more energies to provide heating services in winter, like the home, like the pool, like the greenhouse. We need to consume more energy. So why not combine the two industries together? So that's our solution. And we think that, back to the 100 years ago, we saw that there will be a trend that we could know something. That 100 years ago, the Standard Oil that start from here, from Ohio, they take the petrol. They use petrol to realize atom movement in the real world. To move the atom, move the box from place A to place B, they consume energy. Then around 30 years ago, the GPU and the chips and the data center, they use electron to move the information, like the transaction of the information, the transaction of the value. It's much more efficient. But when Tesla come out, they use the clean energy, they use battery to move the matter, move the box from the real world. So what's the next step? We think the next step is that how could we make the movement of the electron, make the digitalization of the world sustainable and clean. So that's our purpose. And also, when we heard about Ohio, we know there are so many agriculture industries here, and everyone know that the biophotosynthesis equation is really easy. People need the hydro, the carbon dioxide, and through the light we get oxygen and we got the food. But in the big world, there'll be another similar equation that we use electricity plus data, and through the chip and algorithm, so we get the waste heat and we get the value of the bit. But everyone ignore the heat, the value of the heat. So when everyone wants to cool the system, so our destination and our goal is to how could we use heat to provide more benefit. And also that for the computing industry, they may not provide enough jobs for the people because they rely on computer, they rely on chips. But how could we connect the computing industry, the digital industry, to our real life, to give jobs, to benefit our lives, maybe give more fresh vegetables in winter, give more fresh fruit in winter, give our warm pool in winter. That will be really great. So I think our purpose for the site, the goal of site is to promote our solution to the whole computing industry and to cooperate with the OCEC, with everyone here, with the computing industry, the agriculture industry, the university, the states, the government. We want to show that why not we work together to lower the carbon emission? Why not we work together to lower the energy cost for both of the computing industry and heat industry? So here's our integrated solutions. We have inside product to reuse heat in your home, in the buildings, and we have outside product, the box, to put outside directly to quickly deployment. And we also have our application to help you manage your energy, your computing power, and your data. And also we are dedicated to develop the next generation solution for the chips, for the PCB, for the hashing board, with the manufacturing in the industry. So we want to integrate all of them together and design for the better use of the heat. So here's some scenarios that we did in the past 3 years, and we try to provide hot water for the hotel, and we try to provide heat for the greenhouses, and we also try to build this site, and we provide more heat scenarios in this site. We want to show that how much heat we could reuse and how many scenarios we could reuse the heat. And also about the sign up, we want to show that it's really possible to connect the computing industry and the local people life. And it's really possible that we could benefit from the development of the computing industry. Even maybe in the next decades, even ChatGPT, maybe ChatGPT 5 or ChatGPT 6, they consume much more energy. But we don't need to worry about that. We will think to another direction that maybe they could provide more heat to the local people. Everyone maybe need ChatGPT. Our friend, maybe our son, they need ChatGPT to deal with the information. But when we face the problem that people will argue that how much energy you consume, and we will reply that we could reuse all the heat, we could generate food, we could provide warm pool in winter. That will be benefit for the community. That will be benefit for our life, our digital life and our real life. That will be really important, and it's really possible. And also through that way, we could lower the carbon emission, help realize the carbon neutrality for the state, for the people, and give us all of us a better life. So here's some numbers that how we could reuse heat and how much energy we could save and how much benefit we could get from the heat recycle. So here's our milestones. For us, when we first start company, our first goal is to heat our own room. We rent an office, and it's really difficult to get enough heat from the company because they want to lower their cost. So they didn't provide enough temperature for the room. They just make it maybe around 18 Celsius degree. But what we need is around maybe 22, 23 degree Celsius degree. That will feel comfortable for us in winter. But so we try to reuse all the heat from the computing server, and we find that it's possible. Why not reuse that? So that began our business, And also after that, we find that maybe we could reuse heat in a larger scale, because we find that there are so many scenarios, especially greenhouse and the swimming pool and the building in winter. There's another number that 1/3 of the population in the world, they live in the latitude of 40 degree north degree. So people live in this area, just like Ohio, Marietta. They have winter, they have autumn, they need heat services in winter, and they consume much more energy. So also like big companies like Google, Facebook, and other companies, they build their data center near the bigger city because they want to locate near the user. So if in the future, when they build their new data center, they could consider that we could reuse the heat and we could provide heating services for the whole community to heating everyone's home, to heat every greenhouse near here. So that will be a really good thing. And after that, I think no one will argue that what kind of contribution you make for the local community. Yeah, so I think that all the problem will be solved. So Ohio, we think that will be a really great state, and Marietta will be a really great place to realize our goal, to realize this combination between computing industry and agriculture and other industry which need heat. So furthermore, we think that maybe in the future for the city, maybe for not only for the town, for the industry, maybe for the city, maybe in the past we need to consume electricity based on like coal and other source of energy, and we need another heating systems maybe based on other source of fuel energy. And also on the other side, we need to develop computing industry. We need to build more computing center. But if we could design it for the first beginning, maybe we could design another kind of city. At first, we find that if we could use the computing as the electric boiler or semiconductor boiler, so all the other facilities that need heat, we could replace the traditional electric boiler for the home, for the building, for the university, for the hospital, for the community, for the greenhouses. We could redesign all the structure of a new city. That would be a really carbon neutral city and ESG friendly city. That will be the future. And everyone could eat fresh fruit, fresh vegetables in winter, and even the fish and the swimming pool. Everyone could live a better life. That would be really great for the people. So thank you for all your presence, and it's really amazing. We only take around 4 months with the help of Jesse and all the other guys here. So it's really amazing. The efficiency is really amazing. When they come from Singapore, Singapore is famous for its efficiency, but I think here the efficiency is really better, and we want to contribute more. So thank you for all your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our CEO. And the next will be, we're done with the speakers. We are waiting for our guide is Yu Hao Gao, and he is our site node project director. After his explanation of this site, including our boxes, our products, and he will give you a tour of this center, and we'll just follow him. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. I welcome you guys to our Marietta site. I'm the project director, Yu Hao Gao, and me and my co-workers have been working for the past few months get this site established. As you can see, it's wonderful. It is really my honor and my pleasure here to share with you guys about some products and our site. So let me just roll it. Yep. So you can see we have like the two kind of containers, the boxes, the tank box and rack box right here, our site too. And there are 4 highlights and key features of these. So they have like a really high heat recovery efficiencies. They can reach up to 97%. We're trying to collect the waste heat from the Bitcoin mining hashing, anything like that, or we can collect the waste heat and then make them for the heat supply to the greenhouse. And they have strong mobility, so they come in as a containers. They can move to everywhere, anywhere you want, as long as there is water or electricity and internet. They also have like a really compact sort of design. So a cooling tower is on top of the container, so they can move easily with the trucks and stuff. So you don't have to worry about getting infrastructure to come as a individual infrastructure. They can mine themselves with the internet, waters, and electricity. And also they can work under harsh environments and extreme temperatures. Let's do that's. So let me do a little bit of expansion on the tank box. It is a immersion cooling system. The standard power of it is 630 kilowatts, and the power supply for the machines inside the tank box will be 600, and the capacity will be 144 units, and compatible devices will be N-minus S19 series and plus-minor M50, M30, M56, M36, and etc. And the heat dissipation method will be the internal circulation will be the single-phase immersion cooling, and then the external will be the cooling tower on top of them. And so our concept of the tank box is that it is efficiency first design. So they have like 3 big cooling tanks inside the containers, and the tank box can, the cooling tank can be adjusted to adapt different mining rigs with different sizes. So you can just dump them into the tank, and then the oil will pumps out from the bottom of the tank, and then it goes up, and there's like a coolant collector right in the middle of it. And it can support dynamic performance tuning since it is immersion cooling. It can go up to 50 to 70%, and it got a higher dissipation and efficiency because you can see from the pictures right here. This is like the top layer of the machines. We actually have another layer of machines right beneath that. So like a stacks of 2 machines inside a cooling tank, so we can hold more of the mining rigs. And for rack boxes, it is a liquid cooling system. It comes with comes in as a two containers. So one of the container will be the cooling tower, and one of them will be the rack boxes. And the standard power will be 1,030 kilowatts, and the power supply for the machines will be 1,000 kilowatts, and the miner capacity will be 90 units. And compatible devices will be the Westminer M53 or M33 or any other rack-mounted mining rigs. And the circulation coolant, we're taking water or ethylene glycol with water mixture to make sure the heat dissipation just runs through. And the rack boxes, we have 4 individual of these racks inside of the tanks, inside of the box, and each one of them can hold 18 racks mounted machines. So total of 90 machines capacity, and it supports dynamic performance tuning within the range of 20% up or lower. So we can, if it's a bear market, you can just turn it down to minus 20%. If it's a bull market, you can bump it up to 20% more. And the rack-mounted plug-in design is conducive to maintenance and operations, so you can easily replace them whenever the machine is down or whatever. And it is equipped with an automatic temperature control system that can stabilize the inlet coolant temperature within a range of plus or minus 1 Celsius degrees or 2 Fahrenheit degrees. So it is a really stable system, so you don't have to worry about getting overheat. It will shut itself down automatically if there's like overheat happens. And we also have a hydro box that is now ready, is now here on site right now, but the standard power of the hydro box will be 1,130 kilowatts, and the power support for the mining rigs will be 1,100 kilowatts. The miner capacity will be 210 units, and it is designed for S19 hydro. And the circulation core will be the same as the rack boxes, so it will be ready to roll out for our next 10 megawatts project right here. So looking forward for that. And yeah, I guess that's. I really want to thank some of the guys here. I saw Kevin is here, and I really appreciate you guys for the efforts. I know you crews are doing really wonderful jobs and really appreciate that. And we also have our on-site manager, Phil. He's taking care of the site operations and stuff. And we got my man, Cody here, taking care of the operation system. So, I mean, it's a wonderful team. I really love you guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And just follow your house for the tour.
So we're going to do the site tour.
Yep.
We may follow you all.
你跟一下目，
Sorry guys for the live stream. It's a little bit nuts right now, but
Let's just wait. Everybody Yep. So this is the tank box I was talking about. It's 630 kilowatts. We got a cooling tower on top of it. That's the cooling tower. And we got the cooling tanks. These are actually the cooling tanks. You can open them. It's like immersion where you sink the machines into the tanks so that the flows will come to the bottom of the tank and up to the top, and then we'll connect. There's like a connector right in the middle, like a coolant back. We got a pump, we got a heat exchanger, so it has the capability of doing heat supply also. Let's move on to
careful of the wall. 'Cause it's a little-
yeah. I mean, you guys can get in there and check out. It's okay. It's currently running. It's 144 machines inside of them. Yep. Yeah, Cody is the guy who was in charge of like design.
Yeah, I just thought. Get some photos so we can post for
Yes, I did want to see inside one. I go by all the time. I'm having a I'd like to see inside one, but now it's a Oh, that's right. It says it on the front. Okay, that's
And
pretty
there are,
good.
tags like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can. There we go. Let's move on to the rack box. It's right over there, but watch how we walk. The side is a little bit too narrow. Yep.
Look at this waterfall. Look at this waterfall.
So right here we got the rack box is currently running. That is the cooling tower. It's getting the hot water from this side. It's actually warm. You can touch it if you want. And this is the cool water coming back from the cooling tower into the main container. It has a heat exchanger right here, and then there's a pump and heating machine. So you guys are welcome to visit him on the room. Well, it's currently not running the heat because the floor heat is not connected to it, but it will be ready like probably next week. We'll be running the greenhouse right behind that. Yeah, we got that's the greenhouse. We got the floor heat on top of them, got the black sheets and stuff. Yep. So right on that way will be the greenhouse that Tal was talking about. So we'll heat up the greenhouse with this heating of this rack box and a capacity of 90 kilowatts. So we'll heat the greenhouse as well. And yeah, I mean that's it. Thank you guys for coming to the site. And I really appreciate